I guess that now we, after the musical homage, we can sort of pay our tribute to Fred and Rick in this important occasion. And I guess that Anne is going to speak.
Let me get in a good position here. So.
But first we have to find
Oh, they're not here.
Rick around.
Great, thank you.
Fred and Rick are here. We're here today to honor Fred and Rick, and it's sort of intimidating to participate in ceremonies. I'll start with Rick for the best master of ceremonies on campus and probably in Illinois. Yes. So I thought I'd start out with something tried and true. 77 years ago. Actually, we just want to say thank you very much for all that you have contributed to our department, and especially to Rick for his contributions to the life of the mind at SIU, for organizing and running the honors program, for organizing the International Film Series, for bringing distinguished speakers to campus, for participating in organizing and participating in theatrical productions of Greek tragedies and maybe some Roman ones too. I don't know if they did some Roman ones also. For teaching his famous mythology class, and I heard Rick and Joan give one performance the day that Joan gave her talk on Hera, and I still remember the two of them up on stage as Zeus and Hera, and Rick.
He stole the show.
He said to Joan, he called her, I believe it was brown-eyed mama, and brought down the house. And I've always wondered, was that Sophocles or not?
It was Homer. Sweet ox-eyed mama.
Sweet ox-eyed mama. Oh, it was not brown-eyed. Sweet ox-eyed mama. But that's just typical of some of the magic moments that we've enjoyed with Rick. And we hope that we will still be able to see you give some outstanding performances on stages on campus in Carbondale or wherever we could drive to see you, now that you have time to do that. And we wish you well, and we want to thank you for all that you've contributed to the classics program and to the campus at large. Thanks very much. Is he allowed to open that? Or
Yes,
he is allowed. You are allowed. Does anybody have some embarrassing photographs that they brought? No.
Thank you, Annie.
We also want to honor Fred and thank him for his leadership for the past 6+ years, and for steering the little ship of languages away from Scylla and Charybdis and keeping us out of trouble. We thank Fred for writing every report and being the first any department to turn in every report. We thank him for keeping us on schedule, and we thank him especially for the wonderful accomplishment, the wonderful feat this year of 5 successful searches in one semester. Fred holds the record for most meals eaten at the Newell House in a 6-week period. Not to mention the old maid room at lunchtime and the Chicago Underground. You know, Fred was so desperate he wanted to eat at the Hunan again. He also can now tell us whether the old Maine room ever repeats its buffet menu. So we thank you for really for yeoman's service above and beyond the call, for being there for all of us when we needed it. He was throughout the period of his chairmanship, he was at the German conversation table almost every week. And we all appreciated the support we got from Fred in everything. So now we are at the Stammtisch. We are very happy that Fred now can spend Saturdays at home and can eat at the Hunan again and devote himself to his favorite activities, the 3 R's, reading, writing, and running. So Fred, we just want to say we appreciate so much all you've done for us, for the department. Thanks you for being there for us and working so hard on our behalf. Thank you. We got you a gift that comes with training.
Yeah, you forewarned me.
I warned you that you.
And as always, I'll volunteer.
Yeah, I usually need help, instruction. Jackie called me years ago a techno peasant. And to tell you the truth, the only way I ever did come into the modern technological age was by becoming department chair. I think I'd probably still be learning how to just do email if I hadn't become department chair.
Well, this is a big leap forward. I won't say anymore yet. There is a group card in there too.
Okay, thanks. Everybody.
This is something Diane and I crave.
An iPod.
I was gonna guess that. That's what my guess was.
This is a 30 gigabyte
That's right.
iPod.
Video
That shows videos.
Video, that's
But
right.
actually, Fred's training is going to be how to download the German news off of the internet.
Okay.
Onto his
You can even
iPod.
watch it.
He can listen to
Why
it.
do you guys do this to me?
If he can't learn to do that, Jackie, Diane or I would be happy to take over.
Yeah.
He coined the word techno-peasant.
She coined the word techno. Referring to me. Yeah. Should I open that first?
That's from the dean.
That's from the dean, yes. Does it have a name on the bottom?
She's like, give it
That's
here.
mine.
I knew you would take it. No, I don't. There might be a name.
Oh,
Is there a name under it?
That's gorgeous. Trust me, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell Shirley how much you like it.
I'm the pottery freak in our
Yeah.
household.
Well, contrary to what Rick said, I don't have a speech.
You can have your picture taken with it, but that's
I
the
don't
end
have
of
a
it.
speech.
No speech, speech.
You know.
Speech.
Well, anyway, it's. I never thought I'd be ending my career as department chair, but I have to say it's probably been the most rewarding. I'm amazed I'm saying this, but it's probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and it's been an honor and a privilege to have served the department as chair for the past 7 years, and it's been made a lot easier by the collegiality of everybody and of the office, Diane and Kitty. Is Kitty already left?
She's right here.
Oh, there's Kitty.
Right there.
Kitty has been through 4 chairs, starting with Helmut, Margaret, who sends her, and Margaret and Jeff sent flowers to Rick and me, which is very nice, from Detroit.
Oh,
Through Tom, and now me, so she's outlasted 4 of us. And Diane's been in the office almost since the beginning of my tenure as chair. And maybe just to give a little historical perspective, I want to thank Helmut and Joan for having hired me in the first place 28 years ago. I'd also like to mention that our oldest friend, Jackie, and my oldest friends here, Tom and Brooke Thibault, from the University of Maine in Orono before I came here. As a matter of fact, Tom was one of my earliest students, and I have to add that he was one of the best students I ever had, of course.
I've actually known Fred longer than I've known Brooke. So.
That's right, yeah. So, and I would like to thank Helmut for the terrific chair's recommendation he wrote for promotion to full professor in 1985. He, I think with the letters he wrote, as a matter of fact, Professor Al Malone in the political science department told me many years after that he particularly remembered Helmut's letter because the way he wrote that letter was so convincing that they had to promote me. So, and no, he did, I think, provide a model for his successors as chair. And as a matter of fact, I will have the privilege, it'll be one of the last assignments I have as chair, in June, writing the chair's recommendation for Anne, who is going up for full professor this fall. And I have to do it before June 30th, or I don't get to do it. So I will be doing that, and I'll be very pleased to do so. And actually, Anne does not need a letter from me, but it's required because she will get promoted anyway. I guarantee you that. I also want to welcome Anne. I won't make the mistake that Henry Kissinger made back in 1996 when he welcomed Madeleine Albright to the fraternity of U.S. Secretaries of State, because that was a big mistake. And Madeleine Albright corrected her. However, Anne's been preceded by Margaret, but Anne is the first woman chair from the German section, and as you all know, the German section has provided quite a few quite a few department chairs in the last 35, 40 years. So, so I just want to congratulate Anne as the chair-elect, who will be appointed by the dean and the provost, and who will assume her duties as chair and carry on, actually with a new department of whatever it's going to be called, but merging foreign languages, literatures, and linguistics. So I guess Rick and actually Tom, is Tom still here?
Yeah.
Tom, we're the last, what are we, the last of the Mohicans? We're the last faculty who were hired in the 1970s. Wow. And the next colleague who was hired here was Charles Hammond, who's still ill. He was hired in 1987, so there's about a 10-year gap. So we're the last of the old breed. And I'm proud, actually, to be going out with Tom, who retired 2 years ago, and we had a party last year for him, but he continued to teach up until now, and he'll be finishing up on May 9th. And so we're all going out together, and so maybe it's appropriate that...
Where are you going?
I'll tell you one thing, we're getting out of Feiner Hall. I'll be glad to do so. Anyway, so thank you very much.
Okay. This morning I was practicing, and then the phone rang, and I went there. Then I kept practicing, and the flower box came. Along with Margaret and Jeff's centerpiece, he came 2 beautiful roses, one for each for your shirt. You were getting married again. Separately. Right.
By the way, maybe I should mention that Margaret's birthday is today.
Oh, wow.
Margaret Winter's birthday.
That's right.
I don't know if Fred and Rick are aware that there's a report they have to write on their activities after retirement, which will be due June 30th every year in order to continue their pension payments.
Have one
Yeah.
last thing.
If someone else would like to.
The dean wanted me to present you with
Oh.
this because you are taking over as
Oh,
department
thank
chair
you.
as of July 1st, so she wanted you to have that.
Oh, thank you, Diane.
And may I say a few words?
Yes, Jackie, I was going to open it up for anyone who has some embarrassing photos or words they would.
I didn't bring any embarrassing photos, although there was a wonderful one I was looking for. Shows Fred shoveling the front driveway, and he was shoveling, and I said, I'm going to take your picture, and he went. I couldn't find it, so I'm sorry. What I wanted to say here is that I want to thank all of you who have given my dear husband your support over the years. He's had a tough job the last 6.5 years, and I've been home when he's come and he's talked about some of the problems he's faced, but he has never had a bad word to say about any of his colleagues, and for that I thank you. I thank you very much. It's been fun, and I do hope that in future parties you will invite us. We would love to come, and it's been a lot. It's been a wonderful time. Now, people have asked me if I'm looking forward to Fred's retirement. The honest answer to that is no. The reason is I've had the house to myself for 5 years, and he won't let me play my radio. So, no, again, thank you very, very much. It's been lovely. It was very, Alejandro, you're a prince for letting us do this at your home. Thank you so very much.
Great sport.
And I'd like to wish Ann good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I remember when I was brand new at this university, I kept hearing about this really entertaining lecturer, and he had this class of hundreds and hundreds of people, and he was able to entertain them and teach them at the same time, and I kept hearing the name Rick Williams all the time. So I said I had to see this for myself. And so one day, I don't know if he even knew I did this, but I went to one of his lectures, and wouldn't you know, it happened to be on Oedipus Rex. And so he had a ball with that one, and completely understand how his students felt that they really enjoyed him as a lecturer there. And now he could captivate that many students in one room. Just amazing to me, and a real example of a good teacher, a very good teacher. And I'm also extremely grateful to Rick for his 14-year support of my honors course that I look forward to teaching every year. It's always been a joy to me, so I'm really grateful that you always gave me that opportunity. And I got to say something about Fred, and of course you can't talk about Fred without talking about Jackie too, but I remember as an undergraduate at the University of Maine, they were a real example to us, and I wanted to be a German professor. That was my goal, and we had a wonderful German section at the university, and Fred was part of that. We got to know each other a lot better than most students and professors do, because we had this 2-week total immersion program on the coast of Maine every year, and we lived together for 2 weeks. And that was breakfast, lunch, and supper, and singing in the evenings during the Singstunde, and Fred was a real inspiration. I could have, majored in something else like psychology or something, but he kept my interest in German, and I continued on, and yeah, he was one of my professors. I remember he and Jackie looked out for us too, because Brooke and I were just starting out. We were undergraduates when we got married, and one time they hired me actually to waterproof the roof on their house, because do you remember that? And there I was walking on their roof. You do remember that, don't you? Yeah. And when I first found out about this job at SIU, I just went to the local library and I looked up in the course catalog to see who was in the German section there, and I saw this Fred Betz, and I said, there can't be 2 Fred Betzes teaching German. So I checked up on it, and sure enough, it was the Fred Betz, and so one day I called up, and I think Jackie was answered the phone, and I said, this is a voice from the past. I think it really freaked her out,
And I said, hi, Tom Tebow. I told him, I said, I'll know that voice anywhere.
We had been out of touch for 11 years or so, and it was just like we were starting up, way back in the good old days. And when I came out here, They were so wonderfully kind to me, and now I stayed at their place. I didn't have to stay at a hotel, and I was able to stay at their place and have Jackie's wonderful cooking. Not only that, but after I got the job, we couldn't move into our house for 2 weeks, and I had to start in November, and we couldn't move into the house until December 1st. So they opened up their house to us for 2 weeks, and with our little kids, 4 little ones, who. I don't know how you could stand it. No, we can't stand it. We couldn't. Yeah. But we had such a wonderful time there, and they really made us feel. We felt we were coming to a place where we had friends when we came here, because we didn't know anybody. Of course, now we feel that way, of course, but back then, Fred and Jackie were the ones we knew, and Jackie knew everything that was going on in the department, inside and out. So she was able to give me a lot of advanced information that was really useful in my interviews. So.
Always help a friend.
Yeah, one of the things that came up, I think, in a conversation, I don't know if you remember this, we were talking about the department, and I had mentioned that I had been in Austria and I'd been studying karate, and she said, "Oh, did you know that the chair teaches karate?" This was Margaret Winters, and so with that little piece of information, I knew I had a way in there, and when Margaret and I got together, we had lunch at the old main room. And we did not talk one word about the job. The whole time we talked about karate. And I even went to a practice session that Thursday night while I was on my interview. But you have been such a godsend to us. I remember when we first moved into our house, our heating system went out, and we thought the house was going to blow up any minute because of that, because we didn't really. It was the first house we ever had. And so Jackie ran over and showed us that it's actually possible to relight the furnace without blowing the house up. So,
I forgot about that.
yeah. So, Fred, Jackie have been a big part of our lives, going way back, and this says a lot to me also, because I met Fred when he was at the beginning of his career, and now here we are at the end of it, and but new things are going to happen, I'm sure, and it'll be very exciting things, and I'm just really grateful I got to spend a portion of my life knowing them. It's a real blessing.
May I say something for the absent Margaret? Now, Margaret and I and Fred, to a very small degree, were participants in something called the play readings. Rick used to organize a group of people, and he would go over to Quigley, and just before you walked in, he'd hand you a script, and he'd say, "This is your part. You got to read this." We had people. May I say something for the absent Margaret? Now, Margaret and I and Fred, to a very small degree, were participants in something called the play readings. Rick used to organize a group of people, and he would go over to Quigley, and just before you walked in, he'd hand you a script, and he'd say, "This is your part, and you got to read this." We had people come, and they served some grape juice and sort of thing. We had a wonderful time with it, but it was so funny because once you did one of them, you'd be sitting at your desk. I was working for the Dean of Liberal Arts at the time. I was a statistician. And Rick came in the door, and his hands behind his back, and I thought, oh my God, he's going to do it again. And sure enough, here was the script. It was a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time doing it. And then he took over the honors program, and it stopped. And I think we were all very sad about that, because it was absolutely wonderful. And I thank you for the opportunity. And thank you very much, sir.
Did you get to play Clytemnestra, Joan?
Oh, I did. It was wonderful.
Well, if this goes on, I'm going to end up telling everybody what Fred's nickname is. So I think
You open the door.
you'll have to ask me privately. I think we will go ahead and go back to partying, and if you want to know his nickname, come by and I might tell you.
Get in the camera.
Into the camera?
In the camera, yeah.
Pete.
Okay.
Okay.
That was good.
So that's
How did you get the nickname?
I want to know which one it is.
Pete.
Pete.
That's a family name. Yeah. He was born on Peter and Paul's Day, and his dad was Frederick, his grandfather was Frederick, and I guess the family decided he was just too small a person to be tagged with the name, and so wasn't it your godfather, your uncle?
My uncle, my godfather, said Frederick's too long a name for this little infant. So call him Pete.
So our bartender has been resting for an hour. Now let's have to make it work.
Bombarded. Back to the wine.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Going into the garage.
Into the garage. Now.
Because it is very, very windy and cold out here today.
That was at the student center. Yeah. My wife. It was like right in the middle of like right there. I think we stood there in the hallway. Yeah. Hello, Mary. Yeah, and welcome, Scott. Come on in. Oh, you found the right place. I should have let you in the front room. Would you like me to take something?
You took the wrong chair.
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah. Hey, let me take something else. One in each hand. Yeah, it's just you go like college and it's really good now. Hi! Oh, that's the food is going out.
We're having dueling camera.
Hey, come in. Relatively So I wrote outside of that.
Don't change it.
That's why we're going to have the evaluation.
I don't like so many cameras pointed at
It says Rick's plate right there. Very humble plate right there. I noticed you didn't get any of my. Oh, you did get some of my. Okay, good.
Not yet, but I will.
We have had gatherings and
I wonder how.
That's the only way to get out. Go outside and around back.
Oh, okay. His plate. Fred has more on his plate than Rick did.
I'm gonna go see if I can get it along.
Okay. Sure. Same thing. Hi, Joan. And sitting among the boxes. Yeah, I'm putting this on the internet.
Plus, I know, I'd have to pass Sue Davis's censorship,
That's right.
right?
Yeah. I'll have to blip this out now, you know. So.
But seriously, I just had some.